What is my opinion on starting Honkai Impact now? Now's probably a great time to start. Well, anytime you want to start is a great time to start, but I think the best part is, like, the most important thing about starting Honkai Impact right now, especially if you're free to play, is figuring out what your goals are for the game. Because what your goals are... Thank you, Zafu. I appreciate that. 11 months. Depending on what your goals are will determine what you need to focus on in the game. Like, if you're not worried about the competitive side of stuff and you just want to work on slowly playing through the story and slowly doing, like, account progression as a secondary goal, I think there's still a lot to offer as a free-to-play experience. You know, play it as a side game, play it as a main game. I think there's a lot of content. You just want to do story? Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of story to do. And right now, I think the level gates are really easy to get past. Some chapters are going to feel more slog than others. I think, personally, I think chapters 11, not including 11 EX, but 11 and 12 with the pseudo gacha feels really slow. And then there's a couple of chapters that have open world in it that will slow you down as well. But other than that, you can pretty much just marathon the story apart from those two major road bumps. You don't really need to know that much Honkai story to enjoy Star Rail. Star Rail, pretty much the only direct carryover character is Welt, who's directly from the Honkai Impact 3rd universe. You could pretty much just read the Alien Space manga and kind of get the sense that, what you need to know about Himiko in Star Rail. That's about it. But if you want to play Honkai for the story, there's a lot of story to play. I think it's perfectly fine to start it now, even if you're playing free to play. Yeah. I think it's perfectly fine right now. You can always stop by and ask for advice every time there's an option box where you need to pick something and we can give you the meta pick. I think right now, Fallen Rosemary is still really good, and you pick her weapon. Unless you know what you're doing. Like, I think Nefer picked HOV on his free-to-play. Do you need to reroll? I think if you're only playing for story, you don't really need to reroll. I think rerolling is only if you're looking for competitive stuff. HOV was free, didn't have to pick. Okay, great. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, so then that's awesome. So HOV, you get HOV and you get FR, right? And yeah, I don't think you really need to reroll if you're not playing for ultra competitive. And even with ultra competitive, you're looking at, like, I don't think you're gonna really hit a wall with content until after you get past most of the story anyways. Did you miss it? No, we haven't even started Gravity Moon. Okay, let's take a look one more time at these bundles. Yeah, first 5 looks really good, right? This looks great. You know, 280 value for 60. 2 pulls for basically half that price. 3 pulls for the cost of 1 pull. 5 pulls for the cost of 2 pulls. Pretty good. And then 1 pull for, like, you know, fraction of that price. And then you have your more standard banner. Oh, this elf bundle's pretty good. These bundles are kind of standard. Better than non-first time bonus crystal, but not better than 2 times crystals. This elf bundle's nice. 5 times 150. It's still 5 pulls for the cost of 2 pulls. Right, and then here's your usual standardized bundles. Again, better than not first time double top up, but not better than first time double top up. Generally, you don't do your dorm pull. You don't buy dorm bundle. Like, don't buy the dorm bundles, because dorm tickets you just accrue over time. This is a little bit weird, Because usually you get something more like this, where it's like 15 and crystals. Now, one thing I realize is with these bundles that end in 88, the idea is you want to buy at least 5 bundles together so that your final digit goes back to ends in a 40, right? It ends in a 0 if you're OCD. I'm gonna go pick up my friendship crate. And then, of course, you know, if you haven't picked up your monthly focus is always generally a little bit better value than some of these, because it's 1980, but you get a little bit more crystals. The only caveat is it's one-time purchase, whereas the event special you usually have like up to 3 times. No, Reaper, I don't know how to explain this. Okay, so Reaper asks in the chat, should you go broke trying to get off rates? No, you never roll on a banner just for the off rates. I say that every time for the last 2 years. You never roll on a banner just for the off rates. If you need to spend a few pulls to get the outfit, do it in a banner that's actually carrying over, or do it on a banner that's actually gonna... that has uprates that you need. Like, if you're short on pulls, pull on a banner that you can actually bank pity towards. Like, maybe the Flame Scion, or not the Flame, the Finality banner, maybe. Ooh. Login rewards. I just claim both, right? Okay, so if you played through the chapter, did all the stuff in the last 2 patches, you automatically get this. Free Origin and free option box, and as usual, you save your option box until after you get 3 out of 4. Unfortunately, the option box doesn't help if, you know, the weapon's the last piece that you need. That's unfortunate, but that's how it goes. Oh, Captain's Voyage Report! We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. Because we gotta do all the other stuff first. It's a lot of stamina. I did log in before patch to click dailies. I don't know why. Oh, and the music died. Okay, well, enough of that. Let's go take a look at the banners and why you shouldn't why you shouldn't just willy-nilly roll trying to snipe off rates. Because I feel like I say that every banner review, you never roll on a banner just because of the off rates. All right, that's like that's repeated advice we've been saying for forever. If you need to spend a little bit of crystals to hit a target, either check the banner schedule, or, you know, wait for Foca Expo for something that you actually need. Because I know in your case, Reaper, you're missing a bunch of B pieces. Why don't you actually just roll on those gear banners that you're missing the B pieces for? Like, I think, was it Herrscher of Truth B piece you were missing? So why don't you just wait for the Foca Expo for Herrscher of Truth gear and just roll for that B piece? That's the way I see it. You know, that's the way I see it. If you need to spend a little bit more, spend the crystals on stuff that you actually need. All right, like that's too easy. Not like the Foca Expo will help you in any way. Well, it'll help you more than rolling for off rates that you aren't gonna that you're gonna have a lower chance to get. I don't know. I feel like you've been here long enough to know not to ever roll for off rates from any focus supply. Wait, why did the audio die? They really want you to roll for S2. They also really want you to top up for double S.
終焉の律者がランク SSS になると新スキルが解放され全ダメージがアップし
I need Zetsu luck. Does anybody know where I can get some Zetsu bro luck? Raven was there. Raven saw it. He had 2 times he got 2 cards and 1 multi, and then 2 times he got back-to-back cards on multis. Costco, is that where he gets his luck? Right, let's go take a look at the supplies. Firepower supply! Oh, yes! I need Abyss Flower on this account. Exactly this account. Alright, real quick, the recap on how to use a firepower supply. This is mainly for veteran players. The idea is you pick stuff that you already have, plus one thing that you do not have. So if I pick this weapon, and then I pick all these other weapons that I already have, and all these other sets that I already have, I will be guaranteed the thing that I don't have. You get 1 guaranteed new item. So you pick 4 of the things that you already have, plus the 1 thing that you don't have that you're looking for. Alright? And that's how you guarantee the 1 thing that you don't have that you're looking for. Are we clear? I know for some of y'all might be looking for that Might of An Utu. Generally, firepower supply, you're looking for these divine keys. Because otherwise, these divine keys are generally harder to pick up. Because their banners are only like once, maybe twice a year. And they give permanent buffs in the Divine Key Concierge. A lot of the stigmata are either craftable or have been in Battle Pass. Some of these sets are actually, you know, very specific to battle suits. So the children's set is in Battle Pass right now. Paganini is good. I would only pick up Paganini if you're missing like 1 piece, right? The 1 piece is real and it's here. But maybe it's not 1 piece for you. Maybe it's 2 pieces. Like, for me, it's 2 pieces. So I'm not going to pick Paganini. I could pick up Holmes M, and that would be a reasonable decision, you know? Holmes M, I'm only missing 1 piece. So, yeah, I would use the firepower supply. If you're picking up Stigmata, make sure it's like you're only missing that 1 piece and you're finishing a set. Otherwise, I would recommend that you go for a Divine Key, because the Divine Key is a long-term investment. Now, that being said, there's quite a few old meta pieces, like Moondragon, right? Moondragon Benares set is old meta. Shattered Swords is technically aging meta. It's in Battle Pass. Irene is completely craftable. Maybe you're still missing 1 piece of the Flame Scion gear. And Pristine Elf is craftable. So, maybe you're missing a Turgenev piece that gives you the top and bottom combo. That's reasonable. Seeing as though some of the Stigmata that are available this time around is a bit more recent in the sense that it came out last year and a year and a half ago, it might be a little bit trickier for some players to use the Stigmata to target a piece. But in my case, I will be targeting the Abyss Flower on the alt account. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and lock in this, confirm the selection, because I already have a bunch of these. You know, Crusher 19 technically would be useful, but I am here for the Abyss Flower. Alright, and that's how you use a firepower supply. Okay, we'll do this later. Elf supply. This elf is really good. Sweet spot at 3 stars. I think base kind of okay-ish functional at 2, but generally, like, if you're rolling on this elf, I'd say probably just go for 3 stars. I think generally speaking, for 2-star Elf, we will still say that Blade Durandal 2-star is a little bit more universal. But Elf Kiana, good on Fire and Lightning. And if you can afford 4 stars, by all means do it. Maybe you have Zetsubro luck and you get 4-star and 130 pulls. That's super nice rates. Okay, event supply, Herrscher of Origin. So we got one Herrscher of Origin card for free. If you played the previous chapter, this banner functions very similar to like an ADV banner where you can get rank ups for your Herrscher of Origin. Can get double S fairly affordable, but still, like, that's assuming you're whaling on some level, right? Topping up on some level. Maybe not whaling, but maybe doing a little bit of serious dolphining. Let's see what else. Yeah, I mean, if you can afford it, S2 is a great break point. Double S is also awesome. If you're rolling deep, I mean, if you like the character, why not go for that triple S? But do it responsibly. Like, make sure you can actually afford it and you're planning to play the game long term. All right. Gear Gacha. The refund banner. The great and glorious refund banner. 120 pity. We have an option box, so potentially, if you get the weapon early, potentially you're gonna get everything done in what, 50-something pulls? And then if you go unlucky, where weapon is the last one, then it's like, you could potentially still hit 120. But you get refund. Every 10 pulls, you get 5 pulls back. Amazing value. I think if you're like my non-spending account, this is actually where I'm going to roll first. Because we get those refund pulls. Alright, let's take a look at the off rates. Well, these off rates aren't that inspiring, but pretty good. Pretty good stigmata off rates. I'd say the weapon off rates are like a mixed bag. Piranha's really good. Piranha's really good for Pardo and Ichan if you don't have Ichan's weapon. Sanguine Gaze is a bit niche. Nebulous Duality is really good pickup. We actually just did it earlier this week with Jade Knight in both Red Lotus and Nirvana, using Cosmic, which is the upgraded form of Nebulous, and she still clears. Dark Star is too niche, and then Keys of Radiance is alright if you don't have Flame Scion as a stat stick, and if you do have Flame Scion, it's a good pickup. So the weapon side is kind of like a mixed bag in my opinion. It's what, 3 out of 7? No, 3 out of 6, 50-50. Maybe 4 out of 6 is useful, right? 4 out of 6 is useful, so that's good. That's a 2/3. That's a 60% usefulness, 66% useful. In terms of the stigmata, let's say, so Raiden Mei is what we're after. Zen Yi is still okay-ish if you're not on a stacked account. So it's a good progression off rate. Still really strong in most general cases for Lightning. Paganini, very good to have. Handle, craftable, but getting off rates lets you get to your second set faster if you're min-maxing. If you're not min-maxing, having a second set of handle won't really matter. And then Ragna. Ragna is for Spina, but is also really useful as a generic fire DPS set, especially for charge attack characters. Darkstar niche. It is bleed related. It released with Holmes. It was there for, what was it, type counter DXY once upon a time. It fell off really fast. Okay. So yeah, I honestly would say though, like, once you're done getting your uprate on this banner, just stop rolling. Do not roll on a banner just for the off rates. You put those crystals somewhere, like, I don't know, build pity on Elf or build pity in expansion, alright? Or even build pity on this. Try to get some more rank ups here if you have the leftover. If you can hit the benchmark, if you can hit that breakpoint, Reaper. don't dump your crystals in here after you've already gotten the set, alright? Alright, let's take a look. only Focus A. And if I recall correctly, Focus A had some nice off rates. So, of course, the uprate stuff is what you're going to be pulling here for. But Echoes of Paradise, really good. Key of Castigation, Key of Castigation not really used, right? You could keep it for the memes. I still think that Domain of Sanction, the weapon active, feels really good to play, but, like, I would not recommend anybody go out of their way to upgrade that, spend all their mats to upgrade that just for a little bit of gameplay value, like gameplay, oh, this feels good. So Key of Castigation, old meta, not used. Falcon Flare, kind of niche at this point too. Like, it's good to have as a stat stick, but not gonna be, like, if you don't already have Silver Wing, you're not gonna use it that much. But okay, stat stick. Keys of Oblivion. I'd say Keys of Oblivion is useful, right? Even if you don't have HOS. So it's used on HOS. You can use it as a stat stick on Night Squire if you're still enjoying old meta. You can use it as a stat stick on Carol if you don't have her signature gloves. It is a little bit expensive to build up, but overall, I'd say Keys of Oblivion generally has pretty positive value. Scythe, Astral Rend, White Dwarf. If you don't have Spina, it's still okay as a stat stick. I've used it as a stat stick on Stygian Nymph a few times, but generally, like, if you have Spina, this is a great pickup. And then Lost Conviction, which is Aponia. So, like, that also functions as a stat stick if you have a Chakram user and without a signature weapon. So overall, like, I'm also in that sense of, like, okay, well, the weapons are okay. It's not great, but it's okay. Let's take a look at the Stigmata. Oh, Turgenev. Turgenev is nice. And then Himiko for Flame Scion. Bianca Theater, actually a decent charge attack physical set. But, you know, just hang on to it if you get it. If you don't get it, then no worries. And then Bastet, a decent... It's still useful, right? Like, we won't recommend anybody go out of their way to pull Bastet now, but if you can get Bastet from off rates if you don't already own it, it's pretty good value, especially if you can get at least top and mid. What's my supply history on this account? Ooh. So yeah, chances are if you've already prepared well enough to roll for a Kiana battlesuit, then you're probably going to look for at least the weapon, if not full gear here. And then of course Kiana herself, right? Obviously we're gonna roll here if I can get my May gear early. And then lastly, Dorm Supply. We're gonna do up to 20 pulls in Dorm Supply to reach our spending event bonus. You get some currency from Dorm Supply. So, pay attention here. Let's take a look at the Analon shop. They're using orbs this time around. HFS rank up makes sense if you are close, right? Like, S1 I think is a good break point. S2 is quality of life. Spina makes sense if you missed out on getting the Spina fragments last year. S-rank fragments, I feel like this has lost a lot of value in the last couple years. This was really hyped up as, like, back in 2020 and early 2021. Like, we used to always bank on these S-rank boxes. And then Elf option box is actually super good, right? Klein, well, no, it's not Klein. Blade Durandal and Klein would probably be your priority picks from this. Siren 4-star, maybe if you're really close on Siren, I can see maybe going, like, if you're really close on 4 stars. And then the rest of these are like filler, and then of course Flame Scion if you don't already own Flame Scion. Okay, Mine Core, how does it work with rewards? When can you expect the given roles? If you're starting new, if you're starting absolutely brand new, there's a login event that gives you 2 focus supply cards every day. This is 10 total, right? 10 total on a 7-day login. So this goes for equipment supply. For dorm supply, you don't, if you're starting brand new, you don't want to spend any crystals in dorm. You want to use only the tickets that you get from playing the starter missions. And then, in addition to that, we do have a 7-day login. I think the 7-day login for the expansion cards is still running, right? So there's that. So you should be able to get 10 free pulls for expansion and 10 free pulls for focus. And then if you click on this and you watch these videos, you get 15 crystals, 600 crystals from logging in, right? Just for the end of maintenance. There's also a code, right? MK Final. MK Final gives you 30 crystals. I think this code will work for the whole patch. Because usually they'll have like a YouTube promo where somebody's sponsored to do a video and they get this code as a promo code. Don't roll crystals. Don't roll in dorm supply with crystals. Expansion supply is okay if you're starting new. But I don't know if you'll be able to hit the pity as a new player. You might be able to if you play all the story. And there's a lot of story to play. 1 through 31. If you play chapters... If you play chapters... This chapter, which is what, 34? And then you play through chapter 33. You get the May card, right? So 33 and 34, you get... Play through chapter 34, you get May for free. Play through 33 and you get an option box for her gear. Yeah, that makes sense. So Sakusuke's suggestion is if you're a brand new player, I would probably just play through 34 and 33. You might have to play through 32 as well. But if you do all this right away, you would have to basically skip to the end of the story and then backtrack the story. But this is where getting the rewards takes precedence over enjoying the story in this case. Okay, and then that pretty much concludes our banner review, banner and bundles.